He walked in like he owned the place, as if the last 6 months hadn't happened. The nerve of him, waltzing through my door with that same old smirk, like time could erase the nights I cried myself to sleep. I'm Lila, 34, a high school art teacher with a knack for seeing beauty in chaos. My life wasn't always this way chaotic. I mean, once upon a time, our little house in Willow Creek buzzed with laughter, the smell of Jake's famous chili simmering on the stove, and our daughter Mia's crayons scattered across the kitchen table. Jake, my husband of 10 years, was the kind of man who could make you believe in forever. Charismatic, quick-witted, a carpenter with hands that built dreams, our dreams. We had plans: a bigger house, another kid, maybe a dog. But dreams have a funny way of slipping through your fingers when the one you love starts disappearing. It started small, a late night here, a weekend job there. Jake's carpentry business was booming, and I was proud. We're building a future. Lila, he'd say, kissing my forehead before heading out. But the jobs got longer, the calls fewer. Days turned into weeks, then months. He'd show up once in a blue moon, always with excuses: a big project in Denver, a client in Seattle. I'm doing this for us, he'd insist, but his eyes wouldn't meet mine. Mia stopped asking when Daddy would come home. I stopped believing he would. That night, the blue moon hung low, casting a ghostly glow through the living room window. Mia was asleep upstairs, her latest drawing, a family of 3 holding hands taped to the fridge. I was grading papers, the red pen shaking in my hand. When I heard the key in the lock, my heart lurched, not with hope but with dread. The door creaked open, and there he was, Jake, in his worn leather jacket, suitcase in hand, looking like he'd just stepped out of a memory. "Hey, babe," he said, casual as ever, dropping his bag by the couch. "Miss me?" I stared, my pulse hammering. Miss him. The word felt like a slap. I missed the man who danced with me in the kitchen, who read me bedtime stories, who promised we'd grow old together. This stranger, I didn't know him anymore. "Jake," I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside. "You don't get to walk in here like nothing's changed?" His smirk faltered. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means you're not in charge anymore." The words spilled out, sharp and final. "This is my house now. Mine and Mia's." His eyes widened, a mix of shock and something like hurt. "Lila, come on, I've been working my ass off for this family. For us," I laughed, bitter and raw. "You've been gone, Jake, 6 months. No calls, no texts, just a check in the mail like I'm some landlord. You think that's family?" He ran a hand through his hair, pacing the room like a caged animal. "You don't get it. The jobs, the travel, it's not easy. I'm trying to build something." "You built nothing," I snapped, standing now, my voice rising. "You left us to pick up the pieces. Mia doesn't even talk about you anymore. Do you know what that feels like to watch your daughter forget her father?" He froze, his face crumpling. For a moment, I saw the old Jake, the one who cried when Mia was born, who carved our initials into the oak tree out back. But that Jake was gone, buried under lies and distance. "Lila, I'm sorry," he said, his voice breaking. "I didn't mean for it to get this bad." "Sorry doesn't fix it," I said, tears burning my eyes. "You made your choice. Now I'm making mine." The air between us was thick, heavy with unspoken truths. I wasn't just fighting for myself, I was fighting for Mia, for the life we deserved. Jake had always been the leader, the one who made decisions, paid the bills, set the course, but I'd learned to navigate without him. I'd paid the mortgage, fixed the leaky sink, taught Mia how to ride a bike. I wasn't the same woman he'd left behind. "Sit down," I said, pointing to the couch. He hesitated, then obeyed, his shoulders slumping. "We need to talk about what happens next." Over the next hour, we laid it all bare. Jake admitted he'd been running not just from us, but from himself. The business was failing, debts piling up. He'd taken jobs far away to avoid facing me, to avoid admitting he'd let us down. I told him about the nights I'd lain awake, wondering if he'd found someone else, if he'd ever loved me at all. We cried, we yelled, we sat in silence. It was raw, messy, human. I want to make this right, he said finally, his voice barely above a whisper. I want to be here. For you. For Mia. I looked at him, searching for the man I'd married. Words aren't enough. Jake, you have to show up. Every day. Not just when the moon turns blue. He nodded, his jaw tight. I know. I'll try. Trying isn't enough either. I said, you need to prove it. Stay. Be a father. Be a husband. Or walk away for good. The choice was his, but the power was mine. For the first time in years, I felt in control not of him, but of my own life. The next morning, Jake was still there, making pancakes for Mia. She giggled, shy at first, then warmed to him. I watched from the doorway, my heart caught between hope and caution. Could he change? Could we rebuild? I didn't know. But I knew I was done waiting for him to decide our future. Days turned into weeks. Jake stayed, taking local jobs, showing up for Mia's school events. It wasn't perfect. We argued. We doubted. We rebuilt trust one small step at a time. Some days I saw the man I fell in love with. Others, I saw the stranger who'd walked away. But we were trying together. For Mia. For us. The blue moon came and went. But our story didn't end there. It was a beginning. Fragile and uncertain, but a beginning nonetheless. Love, I learned, isn't just about promises. It's about showing up, even when it's hard, even when you're scared. And sometimes it's about taking back the reins and saying, this is my life, too. What do you think? Was Lila right to take control? Or should she have given Jake another chance without a fight? Share your thoughts on love, trust, and second chances. The end.